job is to report, right? So again, as devil's advocate, like, how can you be mad at media if they're going to report something that they heard?
I'm glad you asked that. It's very simple. You can report it with the caveat of
what does caveat mean?
It's like the asterisk. So you can report it and say, I will say I don't know this to be true.
Okay.
But from what I heard is this, and I don't know. But it's no way he's making it to Summer Madness. Oh, this card is over with. People made this. I wish I could tell y'all the exact date of when we locked in Mook and Twork and Lux. But then it was, we know URL did this to try to compete with the Hitman and Mook card. Respectfully, I don't know when that battle was locked in. But I can tell you that Twork and Lux was locked in a very long time ago. Lux ain't the nigga you call in 2 weeks before a battle or a month before a battle. Shout out to Lux and the way he do business. But it is what it is. So this been booked. But people say, this, that, and this. Other shit. Oh my God. Twork did this because he wasn't prepared, so he wanted to duck Lux. All right, what nigga goes and gets locked up to duck a battle? Twork has no show battles before and has told y'all I just won't be there, whatever. He ain't never said, well, let me go get locked up this time. This will make him believe it. No, it doesn't make sense. But that's what it was entertaining to see, I guess. And people liking it and quoting it. Man, I was going to say something else, but I want to talk to him before I say it.
I think you might have said enough. I feel your frustration. And
I was very frustrated.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say nothing.
I was frustrated because I couldn't get a hold of you, and I don't like not knowing.
Exactly, yeah. And again,
so,
this is your business.
Like,
this is your business. I get that, bro. I was on the phone with Henny Man, and I was like, I'm about to go downstairs. I got to talk to Uncle Rob about whatever. And Henny Man, again, a blogger. This is business. He like, damn, Uncle Rob about to get the exclusive. I said, yep. He was like, damn. I said, Uncle Rob won here with a camera, and I trust him. That's the bottom line. So, but yeah, like I told Twork I was going to do this. Let me also put this disclaimer. I should have did it at the beginning. These views and thoughts are mine and mine alone. They're not Champions. They're not J Blacks. They're not Uncle Roz. They're not Tworks. They're not URL. They're not Rita. They nobody that's associated with me. This is none of that. This is all my thoughts, my opinion. It is what it is, though, because I think that the whole thing is, I don't say much. I don't like drama. I'd rather ignore dumb shit. But when it comes to affecting bro's business, when people are putting it out there that it's not fact that he's not going to be at Summer Madness. We are here in London. Y'all know how much money URL has invested in this event? For y'all to put that out there 2 days, and that's the other thing too, 2 days before, well, if this happened on Wednesday, Summer Madness is on Sunday, I'm struggling to find how that's 2 days in between, but still. But for y'all to put that information out there, what about the person here in London who doesn't get paid till Friday, who's waiting to buy their ticket? Now you put it out there that the main event ain't happening, all right, maybe they go somewhere else. Like, y'all fucking shit up, bro. What about the people who saw that and then want to do a chargeback on their pay-per-view because you told them it ain't gonna happen, because you know that you cannot travel if you're on bond. You cannot leave the country. Newsflash, dickheads, y'all about to see it for a second time because John did it and now Twork is doing it.
Oh man, shout out to everybody, man. Salute. This is Chris Unbiased checking in. Anwar did a pretty good job in this interview, if I'm being honest. You know, you kind of want a client that's going to defend you to the core and is going to pretty much support you all the way. So for anybody that's like, oh, Anwar is doing too much, nah, he's being a manager. But there's a difference between a manager and just ignoring the past or whatever. So a lot of y'all know me and Anwar, we don't really rock. I'm not one of the people that's going to put in a phone call to find out what's going on with Twork through Anwar. I'm not really one of those people. Anwar and Twork is pretty much, they've gotten into my business. You know what I'm saying? And we've been back and forth on that. So, and they don't have any idea what's going on, and it didn't stop them from talking about me. So I get the whole, you should just wait and see. But, they wasn't really doing that with me. I remember them sending me, don't you go to court? Don't you got a trial coming up? Anwar, I got them old tweets from Anwar. Where's the trial? So that's just the misrepresentation. However, he is right that people were saying, I never said, when I did my blog, I never said that Twork was not going to make it. I always wished him the best, and I always hoped that he would make it. Obviously you press against time, but I did say the URL was lucky that the event was Sunday and not Saturday. So that gave them like an extra day. A lot of people, maybe the people that spoke about it, that he wouldn't come. I know Angry Fans said that he didn't think Twork would make it. Maybe he thought the event was Saturday when it was actually Sunday. So it gave him an extra day. And
it affected in a lot of ways. Wap, you want to answer that first? Damn, my bad, Mansky.
Yeah, from what I've seen, his court date not until the 10th. Y'all think he about to be sitting there y'all think he about to be sitting in that joint writing? He worrying about coming home. He worrying about what's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? He not worrying about no bad rap.
So one of them was reporting that he couldn't even get in front of a judge until like October 10th. People were saying that was his next court date. I don't know where they got that from. Like, people was sending me that and saying that they got it from facts, and then they was saying that people was writing it in Eazy's chat, and I don't know where they got that date from or whatever. But that stuff was starting to be out there. It was being talked about in spaces. It was being talked about on Twitter, that they didn't even think Twork was even going to have a court date before any time in September to even get out. So the reason why that's bad is because there's a lot of people that don't want to support Summer Madness unless this battle happens. So if you say, oh, I don't think the battle's going to happen, then niggas going to not support it. So that is fucking up business. It is messing up a lot of stuff. And it is reckless to say that when you have a main event that still has time to happen. So you have to at least see if it's going to cancel before it cancels. Now, URL does have a history of not letting you know it's going to cancel until right before, while the broadcast is on. Yeah, just so you know, there won't be a Twork event. It's not like URL has the history of putting it out in advance. But you had people checking on the court. You had people looking up to see if he's still in jail. If you would have woke up today is Saturday. If you would have woke up today and Twork was still incarcerated, he's not going to be there tomorrow. Then you can be like, yeah, he ain't going to make it. At this time, when people were talking, he still had time to get out of jail and get on a flight, because he still had most of Friday and all of Saturday to still get to London. So I never said that this was canceled, and I never said he could not get to London. So, but he's there. But this is what I will say to Anwar is that Twork just has a history of bad business in a lot of sense. Now, I don't know why, or I don't know what it's about. I don't know if URL has blocked some of these battles. I don't know what's going on, but he was supposed to battle Shotty twice in London, and he didn't go, and people were saying he didn't go. He was saying he couldn't go because of like legal issues. Now, I don't think it was legal issues. I just think he just didn't go because of URL. Part of me, I feel that way. Tay Rock was supposed to battle Shotty, didn't battle him. Some of that seemed like it was because of URL as well. So it ain't, I know you were saying like, oh, people are saying that even if you get a bond, you can't travel out of the country. They don't know what they're talking about. Twork is one of the reasons why, because Twork said he couldn't battle Shotty because of legal issues. So some of this is on Twork, bro. And I know you're his manager, but some of this is the boy who cried wolf. It's a little bit of that. And he's your manager. I mean, you're his manager, and I get it. You're supposed to defend him, but you got to have conversations with him and be like, yo, you're recycling, you're choking, you're not showing up to battles or canceling battles or just stuff that happens in the past for whatever reason, whether it's warranted or not. I never say that it was all on Twork. It could have just been stuff going on. You was in New Orleans. You was supposed to battle Jerry West. Next thing you know, your dogs got loose and you got to leave and go home and take care of the dogs. They never rescheduled that battle. It has been a lot of situations where you didn't battle. And unfortunately, people don't want to wait for the truth because they don't feel like it's the honest truth. So they speculate, and that's just what it is. So, and I know you don't like it, but it does come with the territory if you have somewhat of a history. People are just going to assume stuff. People are going to get a little bit of information. I know that Twork was locked up because of a Benz. I know that for a fact. So what the everything around it. And if you look at the charge, it was like receiving property under false pretense. So it makes it seem like somehow he got this Benz and somehow he didn't get it legally. Now, when you have when you know or your reputation is that you snatched purses, even though it was years ago, then people just look at you like, okay, you probably could have been on some bullshit legally. So people are going to speculate, bro. Nobody's going to give you the benefit of the doubt on a lot of situations. That's just the way it is. Like, it's just the way it is. If somebody seems like you got a Benz incorrectly or sometime the paperwork didn't go right, nobody's going to be like, oh, well, Twork got this Benz. It's probably something small. They're going to always think the worst, bro. They're going to always think the worst. And it just comes with the territory. You got to build up a history of good stuff for people to give you the benefit of the doubt. If Lux had a problem getting to London or Lux has something, people would be like, oh, I'm pretty sure Lux will get there. People would believe he'll get there because he don't have a history of this or a history of anything. And unfortunately, Twork does. And I think you have to be honest with yourself when you are firing back at media, as some of this is your client's previous behavior, even if he's somewhat of a changed person. And I'm just being real.
Work is it? They said, Wack, it's a complaint by the security guard, as well as some of the other tenants in the building. It's also, I think the wife or maybe even the building have filed a restraining order on him, right? This tells me he lives there, but he's not on lease. She said he was like saying inappropriate things, like mentioning gangbang sections. He had did so much where he made this young lady feel uncomfortable. I believe she might have quit the job. I said, well, there's no criminal cases. I see it's a complaint from the neighbors. There's a protective order. And I see that it was like 15 complaints. I can't put the defense on him because it didn't go to court. But I know he's a drunk. So everybody said now, Hitman released fake paperwork. Wasn't no fake paperwork. But with the paperwork he had, this was all the complaint paperwork. Now this very paperwork is probably gonna end up in civil court somewhere or something like that.
Everybody, like, this is gonna be the last time I really speak on this. What people fail to realize is people talking about my fiance getting shot all day,
All the
every
time.
day. Before I battle Mook, he was at a watch party debating with people for an hour after the battle, trying to convince people that my girl really didn't get shot. So I just want people to keep that in mind when things like this come across my desk and want me to feel sorry for. No, nobody feels
before
sorry
you
for me.
go-
I don't just do that and just look for people to destroy people. You know, Murder Mook, he called around Nelly, Murphy Lee, they called me. He was reaching out trying to get dirt. He tried to reach out to Bags and Bodies, my other owner, to get dirt. You know, I ain't worried about nothing out there on me, but I see how low he willing to go. All right, well, you know what I'm saying? They crying because they favorite rapper got a new angle put out on him of something I ain't make up. Y'all really y'all emotionally, y'all can't even take what y'all dish out.
Another Hitman Holla versus Murder Mook debate. I saw Wack 100. He did I guess he did a live and something like that, and maybe Hitman was on it. And they basically were talking about the battle, and he gave Hitman the battle 2-1. He said he gave him the battle because the paperwork was real. It never ceases to amaze me how ignorant people can be, even when they are street niggas that kind of know a little bit about the legal system, or they claim to know about the legal system a little bit, but still say stuff that just doesn't make sense. Now, y'all saw the blog I did where I basically talked about paperwork and stuff like that. And the paperwork is real in the sense that what Hitman read is actually something that was reported or something like that. So it's real in that sense, but it's mostly complaints. Obviously, we know the grape that he talked about in the beginning of the round. And at least Wack 100 kept it 1,000 with that. He basically said he couldn't do nothing with that because nothing happened with that. You know, no charges, no convictions, no nothing. So he said, he basically just dismissed. He said, I can't even do nothing with that, which is important because Hitman started his round that way. And sometimes when you start your round with something that doesn't necessarily mean anything, it clouds the rest of the round. And I said that in my blog earlier, that I said we do know that the police came to Mook's house. We do know that there was an Instagram live that he turned on or started when the police showed up. So you build your round around that because we know that that is fact. This college thing, we don't know nothing about. So if it doesn't really have any real significance, it can't really be an angle. So when you cloud people's rounds like that, and it takes up, let's just say, a minute of the round, and then you be like, go to my Instagram, I'm going to drop some info, and the info is just a comment, which is all it was. It was a comment. Somebody posted a comment under, I guess, Mook's battle or under something that said, you know what you did to me. That doesn't mean anything, and we don't know who that is, and we don't know if that comment is real or fake. We don't know if somebody could have said to go write this. It could be a legit comment. It could not. So you're expecting to get something groundbreaking when you say, go to my Instagram right now. You go there, and it's like, okay, it's nothing really here. That's why a lot of the comments was like, this is all you posted. But that takes up a minute 30 of the round, and it clouds the rest of the round. So Wack 100 did basically say that he couldn't do nothing with that, but I was explaining that. The rest of it is, I guess it was an elevator incident. There was a neighbor incident and all this kind of stuff. And it's just all complaints. It's a lot of complaints. That's what it is. And, you know, like I said, complaints doesn't mean anything. They're one-sided. And I'm pretty sure if you caught it with Mook, he would have another version of what happened that night. And anytime, I don't want to discredit domestic violence at all. But we see in a lot of situations, if you still see the person that's involved not speaking on it, or you see the person involved still with the person, it's hard to sell the angle. And I explained that with Eazy the Block Captain. And I was like, you never heard Dude really talk about it, anything that happened. So when people try to paint Eazy a certain way, you don't hear it from his girl. And then after the incident that happened that Debo broke up at the Wody panel, they were still together. So it's hard to sell that Eazy is this quote unquote bad person when Dude is still with them. And then you see Dude and she doesn't have any marks or anything going on that you can just identify as, oh, something's going on. She looks normal. So it's hard to identify that. And that's why someone like Eazy, it's not to discredit anything that could have happened. People don't care. Similar to Mook, his girl is there. And that's why I say sometimes you got to have pictures. You got to have something there. When you don't have anything there, like if Hitman had a picture or something, or he had a way to tie like something visual, when you don't have nothing there, his girl is always dolled up. She's always looking nice. They sometimes wear a lot of matching outfits. They've been together before the battle, outside the battle, showing up to the battle, you know, pulling up to face-offs, all that. You see them together. It's hard to sell that angle. So I felt like, and like I said, without convictions, anything without a conviction, obviously, is still just an unproven accusation. That's all it is. So it doesn't really mean anything. And due process is a real thing, and it means something.
So his third, to me, was like, it was damn near like filler, because it's not turning the people against him. And this is another thing, right? That line you just said about him beating the person's kid or whatever. Yeah, that might be a thing, but the point of it is, bro, he's still married. His wife's right there supporting him. It's still his family. So it's like, how bad could it be if they all right here on the stage like this? together. So it's not really an expose, right? You know what I'm saying? Put 100 in the chat if y'all know what I'm talking about, right? If I'm making sense, let me know. Because that's the point to me. If you're going to expose something or expose somebody, it needs to be something that's going to make people feel like, what's up, Brazil in the building? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? He was already down 2-0. Yeah, he was already down 2-0. And if you already down 2-0 and you spend a whole third round just explaining an angle where basically you're saying he did bad, he R-worded a girl in college, and he's basically a woman beater. And he's beating his children or whatever. Or he's beating his, his wife's child, which is still his child, right? They married. So regardless, to me, it just, battle rap has gotten to the point where it's getting too copy, I feel like. It's getting too gossipy. To me, that felt gossipy. And it's not just to me, it's just to everybody, apparently, because it didn't react. It didn't land the same.
I never seen this before. Let me show you something that I saw watching the battle. And it's the first time I've ever seen this. Let me find out to screenshot it. This is watching the battle, right? Right here, watching the battle. If you look, it says at this point where the red mark is, right? At that point where the red mark is. If you look at what the message says when you stop it at this point, it asks me, do I want to jump over a commonly skipped section? Jumping over commonly skipped section. But that commonly skipped section, I'll put the screenshot up, is Hitman holding the paperwork. Basically, what that tells me is they were asking me, do I want to skip over a section that's commonly being skipped by people already watching this video? So they're willing to skip. Hitman's third round is actually being skipped because a lot of people view it as cringeworthy, not liked, funeral-ish, like just a down moment of the battle, a black cloud where they didn't really want to hear it. So they skipped over it just to get to the end and go to Mook's bottom of the third. And I was just like, y'all never even seen this before. So that just told me a lot. And I was just like, yo, that's kind of crazy. And I'm a little surprised when I listened to Hitman and Wack talk about it. I kind of was hoping that maybe there's been a lot of chatter. And I know Hitman watched my blog where I broke down the third round and everything because he tweeted me about it. So I know he watched it. You know what I'm saying? I got a phone call from him. I was at the gym. I didn't answer the phone. And then he tweeted me about it. He tweeted me basically saying that he didn't give any money back to TBL. TBL was going to always drop the battle on Sunday. And I tweeted him and I said, well, you the one that said that you can have my back end if you drop the battle now. So if you and TBL were trolling each other, I don't know that. So I'm not wrong for saying what I said. I put out what you put out and just read it verbatim. So, but he tweeted me about it. So and it came from the blog. So I know he watched the blog. And I wish he would kind of realize and just sometimes look at the landscape of battle rap and what works. And sometimes, like I said earlier, when you're versatile in certain ways, you can get over on stuff. When you're a funny guy and you got a lot of jokes, you can get over on stuff. And certain people can do certain things. Lux pulled paperwork out on Charlie Clips. It worked a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, Clips is still Clips. People still fuck with him. But when he put out that paperwork about his dad and everything, it's like people fuck with that angle when it was in the battle. But at certain times, it doesn't work. Tay Rock pulled that paperwork, and Tay Rock is obviously a very top of the line battle rapper, and Kid Slade is up and coming, but I still feel like Tay Rock didn't execute it right. So it ended up being like a bad battle. It wasn't executed right, and it looked like Tay Rock was just trying to act tough with Kid Slade.
Bring a whole new meaning to plug talk. Right. This shit here ain't nothing to play about. I don't usually bring news to your door, so now we taking the paper route. And this ain't fake, this is real. This is real. This is real. This is real. Hey! Hold on. I'm looking for my specific part. There we go. Hey! Pass that shit around. Let them see, you know. Hey! So now we taking the paper route. Look at his face. This guy got caught. I ain't even gonna waste y'all time. Let's get straight into that highlight part. David Doster. That's you, right? I'm only asking because it says you viewed this video somewhere before a superior court judge. Are you telling on niggas in court? That's the worst part. And it says he identified Platinum, Decky, J Jerk, and Starks. I'm not saying that you're supposed to be a felon, my nigga. But this case was in 2009. You ratted in 2012. You couldn't wait to start telling, my nigga. Question, my nigga. It says in this paperwork that your brother got hit in the face with a bottle and you was there. Why you ain't help him, my nigga? Only thing you helped him do was rat on a nigga, put hands on him. Your brother took a bottle to the face and you took the stand on him. Facts. It's in the work, nigga. Read it. Don't ask me questions. Shut up. Shut up while I'm rapping, nigga. I wish you would touch me, nigga. Are you fucking dumb? I wish you would touch me. Touch me what? Hey, yo, touch me again. Hey, yo, you gonna get fucked up. I'm telling you.
So the culture didn't like it. So sometimes you gotta look around and you gotta look at like a lot of notes on what goes on and what works and what doesn't work. And even though the culture was kind of iffy on what to do with Kid Slade. Is he a snitch? Is he not a snitch? Piper Boy helped him out. He did a blog. Piper Boy broke down everything and kind of broke down the situation. I felt like it helped Kid Slade a lot. But you may say, oh, but he got the paperwork. But the culture really didn't even want to hear what Tay Rock. A lot of it is because Tay Rock, as the gun bar king, you don't want to hear that from him. You look at Eazy when he battled Geechee. He goes through his rounds where he's trying to say Geechee is just, you know, his L.I. the mayor or whatever got put in, you know, as his Cody on a case, and Geechee didn't do as much time as L.I. the mayor. So he's trying to paint this narrative like, how did you get out of jail and L.I. the mayor didn't, or your Cody's didn't?
Hold up. I watched this Queen's Flip interview, and it's something that you said on that couch that sparked my interest. Not that you robbed the Walgreens, that's petty crimes, that shit malicious. But then he said that his Cody's got a year in jail, and when they asked him how much time he got, he said he got kicked out of prison. I said, whoa. Hey, yo, Hollow, you ever heard somebody say they got kicked out of prison? Come again? Yo, so I didn't know if I was tripping, so I rewinded that shit for about a minute. He said, I got kicked out, cuz. Even the tone inflections was different. I hit my DA bitch. I said, Marcus, keep there, Troy the second bitch file. Go get it. She called me back in a minute. I said, what it say? She said, Eazy. I said, what it say?
And it just came off as like, he even said in his round, I call my DA friend and all this kind of stuff. It's like, you got a DA friend, you got a friend that actually puts niggas in jail, but you don't, you're a street nigga. But that's what he said in the battle. I call my DA friend. And people, that's like another weird thing to say. And I think people just didn't rock with Eazy's second round at all. This is Eazy the Block Captain. This is a dude that is at the top of his game right now, coming off the Hitman battle. People still didn't fuck with it. And the problem with that is you're trying to discredit Geechee, but Geechee is looked at in this culture as one of the most thorough guys. So that angle, although you may be like, well, why niggas don't like the angle? It's just like Eazy at that time or what we were learning at that time and everything. He had already had the Papoose situation. He had already lied about that situation. So Eazy was kind of coming off as a dude that broke his contract with URL, had an issue with Pap, and then lied about it. So his credibility was a little bit shot. And Geechee being more of someone that the culture looks at as a stand-up guy, it's like sometimes the messenger is the problem with the message too. So coming from Eazy, the fans didn't want to hear that from Eazy. So I think what Hitman needs to realize sometimes is you just got to look around and realize that unless you're talking about snitching, people don't care about other paperwork and other issues that criminally involve people. They really don't care. And when it comes to domestic abuse, I'm not saying that it's not an important issue. Obviously it is, and it's something that goes on in this world, but a lot of people don't care about it.
So that really didn't hit when it came to me, right? So now we get to the him and his girl. And it's like, yo, then he said he got the complaints from the neighbors about him and his girl. Now, from what I understand from the back end is the fact that him and his shorty really did have an altercation. Okay, you mean, cool. I don't know how true it is from reading from the neighbor's complaint, right? Just because you read from like the neighbor's complaint, that's the truth. We don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if the neighbors is telling the truth. Like, as far, it was just like a lot of shit. It's like, okay, we seen it, because how I would have played it is, okay, what we seen on YouTube is the truth, right?
Right.
So it's like, you know that they got into something, right? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's on YouTube. Cops was there. It's on YouTube. But now we're talking about comments from the neighbors. And I'm tired of niggas acting like that. They don't beef with their girl. I'm tired of niggas acting like that. It's that y'all girls don't do nothing and y'all got into an argument and I'm tired of niggas acting like that, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, niggas will make that really a something like y'all niggas ain't arguing with y'all girls. Nigga, like, we never had an argument with our, come on, bro.
Serious Jones went to jail for being a pimp. What does a pimp do? Or what do you think pimps do? They, you know, seduce women, they manipulate women, sometimes they beat women, they take women money, and they prey on women, and they put women in a vulnerable spot. They basically have them selling their bodies and take their money and basically living off the bare minimum while they fatten their pockets. So people looked at Serious Jones as a pimp, but Serious Jones, like in jail, sometimes that can be looked at as kind of bad in a way, like you preyed on a female. It's not like a super respected, like it's funny because if you like Bishop Don Juan, it's like, oh, you a pimp. Like you get a lot of love, you hanging with Snoop Dogg and all this kind of stuff. But then sometimes it is looked at as like a crime that you prey on women. So everybody in jail don't always respect even that. But Serious Jones went through that situation, got out of jail. Culture didn't care. They didn't care that he was a pimp. But like I said, the way people look at pimps is another thing that could denigrate women. But it never stopped Jones from flourishing in battle rap. And sometimes you just got to pay attention to what will work. Snitching is almost like bigger than anything else, bigger than everything you talked about in the Hitman battle. I mean, in a Mook round, the grape and the domestic, that snitching thing. Yeah, it'll get bad news. It'll get this person, that person. But when you're looked at as, like, when you want to like battle rap heroes and battle rap stars and everything, I know that's what you and Mook is, but you know, I do look at Mook in battle rap as the A side, and Hitman obviously in this battle was the B side. And that was a big argument going into the battle because Hitman was saying, I'm the A, and Mook was saying he's the A. And I think it said a lot. This told me a lot in that battle was, one, Mook was able to get the crowd, obviously, in Houston, and I thought Hitman would get the crowd in Houston. Hitman said that he was a little surprised that even the cheers on the walkout was favorable to Mook, and I was surprised at that well because, you know, you think Missouri, you kind of think closer to Houston, you think Atlanta ties, Houston, you kind of just think that, but Mook ends up getting a lot of love. Do you realize, bro? And I thought about this too. Hitman dropped so much paperwork in that third round. So much paperwork in that third round, and has so many accusations towards Mook. Normally that kind of stuff buries you. It buries you in your round. That's a third round knockout. Normally you would think that, right? And Mook walked off stage, bro. Not only did he get reaction in his third, because he went at the bottom of the third, so he was getting reaction. So his round didn't even die to what Hitman said, which said a lot. Like, you go crazy in this round, and Hitman was getting love in his third round. He was getting reaction, but it didn't cause Mook to die. Mook still was able to get reaction. And Mook walked off that stage, bro. After he dapped up Hitman and everything, he walked off that stage, and Hip Hop Is Real is following him. And I'm like, he walked off stage after being called a child beater, a woman beater, and a rapist, and having hella paperwork pulled out on him. He walked off stage to autographs and pictures, bro.
Easy done. Easy done. Hey, listen, after party at acapella. After party at acapella. It's like 2 minutes from here. Thank you, bro. I got congratulations. Great battle. Salute. Oh, yeah, my boy. Crazy, bro. It's so good. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. You know you won, bro. Oh, yeah, nah. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. My boy. My brother. Can I get a quick dude? Yeah. We need a flick, Mook. Hey, come
on. Let me repeat that. He walked off stage after being called a rapist, a child beater, and a woman beater. He walked off stage and niggas was like, yo, Mook, you think we can take a picture? That's the magnitude of how much that round didn't hit. And a lot of it is execution. A lot of it is the messenger, and a lot of it is who is being said about. And most importantly, a lot of it is that nothing was proven. But that said a lot, because I'm sure when Hitman wrote that part, he probably thought, I'm going to bury him in this third. Because if you listen to the battle, he's like, watch this, wait till this third round, watch this. And I think that has to be crazy when you in your third to know this nigga getting a reaction, this nigga getting love when he walk off stage.
But I'm just like, oh man, is this third round all gonna be about? Yeah, so he pulls a file on Mook and says he R-worded a lady in college, which I don't want to like take lightly. He posted on his Instagram. He says, everybody go to my Instagram. You can read it. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's false. I am just speaking to you, and I know it's kind of cheap for me to have this opinion, but I'm just speaking to you as of now as a battle rap fan. I don't have like journalistic integrity to take whatever this is seriously. I just want to talk to you as battle rap fans. I think that's where most of you guys want to meet me at. I don't like it. Damn, it sounds like I'm hating on Hitman this whole time. And then he goes into, after he posts a message from this lady on his Instagram that she was outing Mook. And the energy is just like, I feel like you're at a funeral. And not like a black person celebratory funeral. It's like a white person funeral. With egg salad and like coleslaw. And it's like, oh, did you know Jared? Yeah. He was my accountant. It's like that type of funeral, you know? Where they sing like Amazing Grace. Like, no hit. He says Murd Mook had another instance in his building of a security guard that says he had made advancements towards her saying words. Look, I'm trying to get monetized, guys. Don't, you know I'm trying to edit myself. He says that was the first situation. The second was he Ray Rice someone in the elevator when his daughter was in the building. I don't know. You know, this stuff isn't fun to talk about, but I respect Hitman being like, if you go low, I go to hell. You know, and Hitman really wanted to make a stain on this battle. To me, you know what this battle was? It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun. Sarah, was this a fun battle?
Amazing grace. I do applaud him for thinking the battle rap world cares about domestic violence. Like, I don't think this is the arena where this is going to hit the way you think it's going to hit. Like, no, that's crazy. And granted, if any of that is true down to the, we'll say grape, so we don't get demonetized, the grape in college that got him kicked out, beating up his wife, beating up his daughter. Yeah, that's fucking nuts if any of that is true. I just will care about it on the Twitter timeline. Mm-hmm. The battle rap, you think that side?
Yeah.
That didn't even move anyone in the crowd on stage.
No.
This ain't the place.
Yeah, they didn't care about that. I mean, I salute Hitman for putting that whole thing together, and
for sure
that whole scheme and everything like that. That takes skill, but it just didn't land the way I thought Hitman thought it would land.
He said that one of the reasons why he talked about all this paperwork stuff is because Mook was at the watch party with Loaded Lux when he battled, I think, Geechee, and they were debating the Cinnamon get shot angle or whatever that Geechee was talking about in the second round. And he was talking about Mook was trying to convince people that his girl didn't get shot. I didn't really get that from what Mook was saying. I don't think Mook was saying that your girl didn't get shot. He was debating some of the bars that Geechee was saying about the bullet entering and it didn't have an exit wound. And Mook was like, yeah, that is kind of true. It didn't have that and didn't have this. So I think Hitman took that as like, are you trying to say that my girl didn't get shot? But Hitman, honestly, bro, nobody believed your girl didn't get shot, bro. Most logical people know they saw your girl walking through the hospital. They saw her rehab. You recorded it. It was videos out of stuff she went through. She had a damn neck brace going on her neck for a long time. And I don't think that would be something that you would lie about. So did I look at any reports from that night or anything? No. But I don't want you to focus on Verb and Byron Blake in Spaces breaking down whether or not your girl got shot, and a few ignorant ass fans that might tweet you and actually like listen to Verb and Byron Blake and be like, oh yeah, you right, Hitman girl didn't get shot. I don't want you to listen to that because that's like 10 to 15% of the community on some weirdo shit. And I don't want you to kind of like buy in so much to the 15% of the BS and not the 85% of the people that's like, yo, we fuck with you and your girl and glad y'all had a good recovery. The love outweighs the hate by a lot. And I don't want you to focus on that people is really running around in this culture as if Cinnamon didn't get shot. I don't even think, it's been used in it, but nobody really believes that, bro. If they really believed it, they wouldn't fuck with you at all, simply because they would just say you lying for some type of sympathy. So the fact that you get love in this culture is because they believe this situation. That's part of it. Yeah, nothing is 100%. It's always going to be some people that just don't rock or not going to believe it. They just never were fans of you, or they're not fans of you. You get way too much love to even feed into a few people that believe Byron Blake or believe what Verb was saying when you were beefing. And Verb didn't even have that energy when y'all were cool. He wasn't running around talking nothing about this Cinnamon shit. And the minute y'all beef, now he want to, that's why I don't even believe nothing to Verb, because he didn't have the energy in the beginning. So if you don't have the energy in the beginning, I don't want to hear it when y'all fall out. So nobody's running around believing Byron Blake.
Chris, unbiased, biased. Man,
subscribe to the channel, man. Don't be a hater your whole life. Chris Fire.